Hey there, and welcome to day two of Shop Talk, the auto repair shop owner's 30-day reset. I'm Rachel Evans. If you're finding me for the first time or you are following on from yesterday, just a quick introduction or reintroduction. I'm the CEO and founder of the Workshop Whisperer, which helps auto repair shop owners just like you to achieve business success and have a great life. And I'm showing up here for you 30 days in a row at one of the busiest times of year. Today is December 12, which means since we're only on day two, we'll be going right through to almost the middle of January. And the reason I'm doing this here now is to combat with you one of the biggest excuses we hear from auto repair shop owners about why they think they can't invest time in growing their business. And that is because they simply think they don't have time. So I'm going to be chatting with you over the remaining 29 days of this 30 days about all of the things that we discuss at the Workshop Whisperer. We at the Workshop Whisperer will help many, many more of you for free than we ever will have paying clients. And that's right on purpose for us. So, one of our five values, business values that we have at the Workshop Whisperer is generosity. And right from day one, on July 1, 2014, when I launched the Workshop Whisperer, I have been educating the market with absolutely everything that we know. And most of it is consumed in free form. And then there are those who come into our paying programs. But more about that as we go through, because what I'm really here to talk to you about is why you don't think you have time and how, if that's playing out for you in the business context, it'll also play out for you in other areas of your life. Maybe currently at the moment, you're not feeling as healthy as you know you should be, but you tell yourself, I'm at work from dawn till dusk. I'm so tired when I get home, too tired to get up early, can't exercise. I don't have time. You've got the business, you're there from dawn till dusk, so you just do not have the bandwidth to invest in time with the kids or other family stuff. Or I'm so busy running the business, I don't have time to meet with my accountant to understand our financials. I don't understand what the reports say. I've just got to keep the cars moving through. And the way I do the accounts is if there's enough money in the account, I'll pay the bill. When there are time related excuses, they actually affect every area of your life. So, my aim over this 30 days, no matter where you come into this, what number video you see, it's that you walk away with some concept that it's just actually the little voice in your head that is afraid that if you actually invest the time, you might find things that you don't like and it'll be uncomfortable to change them. That's why our brain throws out excuses. And your fear mind, also known as your ego, is very, very good at making you think that those potential fears, those things you might be afraid of, if I do this, this will happen. Your fear mind, your ego is really good at convincing you that those things are real. So in business, the more you can deal with uncertainty and the braver you become, the more successful you can be. But we have to dial it all the way back to just what your fear mind is saying to you at the moment. So I aim to keep these videos sort of around the 15-minute mark because you're already telling us that you feel like you don't have time. So this isn't going to be an hour and a half each day. This is just about one or two simple things that you can relate to that might help you just shift past, okay, well, maybe that is a fear and it's not logical. So what might it look like if I did invest a little bit of time to meet with the accountant and ask some extra questions, to listen to the podcast, listen to Whispering Loudly on the drive to and from work. 10-minute episodes, I can pick up some tips there. What if I make a hard stop at 5:30 p.m. every day for everyone in the team because they've all got kids too, and we all are home for dinner? What if I just try that? The business isn't going to burn down if you try that. So I think the year was 2010 when my then husband came home from his work one day where he had sort of transitioned from light vehicle mechanic to heavy vehicle mechanic. And he just said, I'm going to go out on my own. And I was already self-employed. I have not been an employee for a very, very long time. I was running my own personal training business. I've always had a business mindset. I've just always had a natural affinity for numbers and money and sales and marketing, and then teaching others how to do the things I've been able to do. And at school, I was, always first in business studies, first in economics, and did those things when I went to university for a while as well. So I was already running a small business, and we had two children at the time, and there was a third one on the way. So it was a little bit of a surprise for me to hear that, yep, I'm going out on my own. He had organised to continue to subcontract to the business where he'd been fixing the big trucks. And he would do that 2 days a week. And then he had planned to grow a mobile mechanic business. So any of you who started out your journey as mobile mechanics will know that, that can be difficult. You've got travel time. You're trying to build in good enough margins so that you're covering the time that's effectively lost because you're driving off to get parts, you're driving between jobs, etc. And without any business skills training, you can just not even know what you don't know, and it becomes really difficult. However, I just started marketing for that mobile mechanic business in the same fashion that I marketed for my personal training business. My ex-husband had his aircon ticket, so it was quite easy to sort of package up that service and advertise for it. And eventually, he got some regular servicing customers. And then eventually he started doing big enough jobs that he expressed he wanted to go into a workshop. And there wasn't any space, commercial space, industrial space in the area that we lived to do that. So we ended up combining the purchase of a workshop space with a move home for me to Newcastle, which is how I end up being here 15 years later, nearly 16 years later. So the transition into a workshop when you're a mobile mechanic business is absolutely enormous. I was still running my personal training business, but it became quickly evident because I'd had the personal training business online in the end after I had my third child. It became quickly evident that if this workshop business was going to be the income that provided for our family, then it needed my full-time or as much of my attention as I could give it, while my ex-husband ran the mechanical side. Now, that dynamic is one that will be very familiar to many of you. So, wife in her career, husband looking to fulfill his professional aspirations by transitioning from employee technician to owner technician, very common. He does that for a little while, but the stress levels mount, and the female in the life partnership comes in to do a few hours here and there. She might do the books, might help out with the marketing, help out with the admin. But for many of us, that also becomes our full-time thing. So that's what happened. I closed the personal training business, happily went all in on the workshop business. And the one we'd taken over, we bought very cheaply. It was an older gentleman, late 60s, body was broken from a lifetime of repairing everything from cars right through to caravans. And he wanted out. The business had been on the market for quite some time, and we really got it for a steal, but he had also let it run completely into the ground. He just was not capable of the workload to keep it, as a going concern, really. So what we took over was effectively dead. Yes, we had the space. It was a lease. Yes, we had equipment, but the only customers that were coming were ones who only wanted to pay $150 for a service. And that was a challenge because immediately, once I'd worked out what our break even was, we needed much more than that. So, right from the get-go, myself not having the same emotional attachment to the work that my ex-husband was doing, knew that we had to price for the profit that we needed, not to suit the type of customer that was showing up and only showing up in low numbers. So there were a lot of lean months in the first year, that's for certain. But at no time did I think we had to conform to only the type of customer that was coming. And that's really important. And it's what we see from so many of you. You might have taken over a business or inherited a business or started up something because the workshop space was ideal, but who comes to you in the beginning isn't ideal, and you feel pressured into accepting what they can afford. Like my ex-husband, almost all of you, if you're the technician owner, and your other half, if you're the female in the business, you're exceptional technicians. And there's a price to pay for that when you're the customer of getting the job done right the first time, especially when it's your hands on those tools doing that job. And that's the mindset that you really have to have right at the start, even though fear has you saying yes to every customer that walks through the door, whether they end up being your ideal customer or not. We've all been there. We've all had those months, and they might even have been quite recent for you, where you felt you just had to say yes because it was the only type of work coming through. And when you're in those early startup phases, and even when you're going through a lean time with cash flow, your brain will tell you, we just have to get the cars out so we can get the money through the FPOS machine. We don't have time for anything else. Certainly don't have time to meet with the accountant or the website guy or anything else. Definitely can't afford to pay for coaching for a business coach, and don't have the time to show up. Not even seeing my kids. And all of those things appear real. They appear real in the moment. But it's actually the best time to stop and just take a look around and ask yourself, all of this is going on and it's actually not ideal. It's not what I pictured. It's not what I want for my family. I want to be picking my kids up from school or dropping them off every now and again. And that could be the husband or the wife or whatever your relationship dynamic is, can be saying that. This is not the income level I envisaged when I switched over from being an employee to being self-employed. It doesn't actually look or feel how I want it to. You've got to pause to really think about that. And then if you ask yourself, all right, if I did just take 30 minutes, 30 minutes just once this week to sit back, have a look at my stats. At the Workshop Whisperer, we have 15 industry specific benchmarks, KPIs that auto repair shops should be working towards. And they will tell you which rabbit hole to go down when your results don't meet those benchmarks. So if you're not meeting the gross profit benchmark of between 58 and 62% on each job, there's only three possible avenues that you need to troubleshoot in order to discover, well, is it my parts margin? Is it my labor margin? Or is it something else? But if you don't take time to even slow down and look at those things, like forget about whether somebody else is guiding you through that stuff, then the result that you get is just luck, good luck or bad luck. It just is what it is. There was no intentionality in the outcome other than just say yes to everything that comes in. And the goal is to close the invoice and get the money through the EFTPOS machine. You haven't had any direct intentional involvement in what the financial result was. So if you don't slow down, if you've got a few technicians on the floor as well, if you don't slow down to analyze every day, productivity, efficiency, where you lost time, if you don't have we call it the 7-minute morning huddle at the start of the day to have a quick glance back at what happened yesterday. If there was somewhere where you lost time, what can we do today to make sure that doesn't happen again? If you're doing really well, best practice that we suggest is that you have one of those same meetings after lunch so you can check in, because most surprises happen when you're expecting a car to go out by close and something goes pear-shaped in the early afternoon. And you could have discussed it when everybody's back on the floor from lunch, but you didn't. So your technician thought that they'd be able to handle it, but they couldn't. And then you've lost that time. Then you feel guilty for the customer. You don't charge them, blah, blah, blah. Time lost, productivity ruined, dollars don't get banked. This concept of time and you not having enough blows out of proportion when you're just busy running around putting out fires. You've got time to have a 7-minute morning huddle before you bring the first car in. You've got 7 minutes after lunch to check in with everyone to see how they're going. Does anyone need help? Has anyone run into trouble? Encourage your team to come forward with that rather than, oh shit, pardon my French. This is getting out of hand, but I've got to try and fix it myself. And then you have that afternoon disaster. You've got time for those 2 7-minute meetings. You do. But when there's never any time to pause, you don't recognize how simple it can be just to slot those things in. So you can be the solo operator, as in it's just you, and maybe you've got an apprentice or one other technician, but there isn't a second person in the business with ownership eyes. You might be the service advisor as well, which makes it even trickier. You're answering the phone, you're dealing with walk-ins, and you're trying to sell your time. It is more than likely a far bigger issue for you in that situation as the solo operator. You would be doubly sure you don't have enough time. But I guarantee you, if you gave this a week, just doing the 7 minutes, 7-minute morning huddle, and the huddle after lunch, just to regroup, where we at, who needs a hand, is there any risk that any of these cars aren't going out this afternoon, or any of these caravans, or any of these boats, or any of these motorbikes, whatever they are. You do have time. You do have time. So take that away for today. It's only your fear mind, your ego, that says we don't have time, we just have to keep going. it'll work out in the end. Your result won't change in the end if you just keep pushing through with that. So good on you for taking this time to watch this far. Just have a crack, even at one of those 7-minute morning huddles, and just do it every day for 5 days. Even right now, busiest time of the year. Doesn't matter what time of the year you come and have a look at this video. Do that if you're not currently doing it. And if you are, then slot in the one after lunch and watch your afternoon crises start to dissipate significantly. Alrighty, there's day 2 of Shop Talk, your 30-day auto repair shop owner reset. I will see you tomorrow for day 3.